Hi, fifth graders. I'd like for you to listen as I read the article, Indigenous Peoples Day, Rethinking How We Celebrate American History. Historians, I'm not started reading the article yet, I just wanted to share a little bit. But historians are finding that the original story of Columbus isn't what people were thinking. And so as people continue to learn more about Columbus and historians gather more information, people are starting to question, is it something that should be celebrated? So the purpose of me sharing this article is to share some information about Indigenous Peoples Day, just to get you thinking. Maybe it's something you're familiar with, maybe not. In fifth grade, we study the history of the United States. And we will learn about Indigenous people, and we will learn about explorers coming from France and Spain and Italy to what was considered the New World. So please make sure that you listen and think about your thinking as I read the article. The first documented observance of Columbus Day in the United States took place in New York City in 1972 on the 300th anniversary of Columbus's landfall in the Western Hemisphere. The holiday originated as an annual celebration of Italian-American heritage in San Francisco in 1869. In 1934, at the request of the Knights of Columbus and New York City's Italian community, President Franklin Delano Roosevelt declared the first national observance of Columbus Day. President Roosevelt and the U.S. Congress made October 12 a national holiday 3 years later. In 1972, President Richard Nixon signed a proclamation making the official date of the holiday the second Monday in October. Generations of Native people, however, throughout the Western Hemisphere have protested Columbus Day. In the forefront of their minds is the fact the colonial takeovers of the Americas, starting with Columbus, led to the deaths of millions of Native people and forced assimilation of survivors. In 1977, participants at the United Nations International Conference on Discrimination Against Indigenous Populations in the Americas proposed that Indigenous Peoples Day replace Columbus Day. Indigenous Peoples Day recognizes that Native people are the first inhabitants of the Americas, including the lands that later became the United States of America, and it urges Americans to rethink history. The movement to replace Columbus Day with Indigenous Peoples Day or Native American Day has gained momentum and spread to states, cities, and towns across the United States. The first state to rename Columbus Day was South Dakota in 1990. Hawaii has also changed the name of its October 12 holiday to Discoverers Day in honor of Polynesian navigators who populated the islands. Berkeley, California became the first city to make the change in 1992, when the City Council renamed Columbus Day as Indigenous Peoples Day. In 2015, an estimated 6,000 Native people and their supporters gathered at Randall's Island, New York, to recognize the survival of the indigenous peoples of the Western Hemisphere. The demonstration's success and the worldwide media attention it attracted planted the seeds for creating an Indigenous Peoples Day in New York City. This year, the nation's capital passed a resolution to change the holiday to Indigenous Peoples Day. Universities and schools across the country are also observing the new commemoration. The following states in the District of Columbia now observe Native American or Indigenous Peoples Day in place of or in addition to Columbus Day. I'm not going to read the states, but I'll scroll through. It also has smaller jurisdictions with cities, just to give you an idea. So fifth graders, I just wanted you to be thinking and see if you have a change in your thinking. Maybe you're familiar with Indigenous Peoples Day, maybe not, but I wanted to share that information with you. Thank you.